Hey guys, it's Vincent with Vascotoys. On today's episode of Action Vasco, we'll take a look at a custom diorama commission for Jaycepticon. Some of you may know him from Instagram for his Boba Fett, Mandalorian, and all things Star Wars content, but he also has an affinity for a specific fast food establishment which inspired this build. So let's take a look at this dope yes storefront. This diorama is 18 inches across, 14 inches deep, and 14 inches tall. It is made out of XPS foam, 3D printed parts, plexiglass, cardstock, and it is painted with acrylic paint and then sealed with Miniwax polyurethane. So I'm just going to walk through what everything is here. So the sidewalk, of course, is the XPS foam. The main wall pieces are XPS foam. And the 3D printed parts are the Vascotoys sign that I always have, the window frames, the Dope Yes sign, the Jaycepticon sign, the light fixtures, and then I have these little toppers that sit on top of the awning that are 3D printed, and also the little brackets that I have sitting on so the awning can sit on an angle are 3D printed as well. Then the windows are made of plexiglass with vellum paper glued behind them. And the Dope Yes promotional signs are made of cardstock, and I wanted to add those in just to make it seem more like a fast food chain for Jaycepticon, since that was what he was wanting. And of course, my dioramas that feature windows are almost always backlit capable, so there's no difference here with that, and I think that adds in some really good possibilities for toy photography, especially nighttime scenes like I've said before. And then I quickly just want to mention that I do have my balloon lights in these custom 3D printed light fixtures like I always do to light up the signage, and there are actually 4 of those. There's one on the side too. We'll take a look at the side of the building next. But this was painted with acrylic paints like I said, and it was first washed with that nutmeg brown that I've talked about using as an alternative to the black wash. The building was, and then the sidewalk was still black washed. And then what I did was a modified dry brush on this mustard color. I think it was actually called caramel, Anita's caramel color, for this main part of the wall. For the gray, I think it was a charcoal gray, I didn't really dry brush that, I just painted that straight up. And then the same thing, I used Anita's dark red on the awning and the trim piece. So that was the painting applications for this particular piece. Alright, so I rotated the diorama so you guys could see, because this diorama is not a 360-degree diorama, it's only the exterior, so the inside is not painted, and it is fully magnetized. I forgot to mention that in the last shot. So I have a 3D printed door that would be like a, the kind of push-pull kind of door you would see at a fast food chain, and it has a little door handle there as well. I mentioned I had one more of these balloon lights here, and I have a awning section here as well on this part of the wall. But I just wanted to show you guys that the door is also backlit capable. So again, if you wanted to do something where, you know, someone was entering the restaurant or whatever Jaycepticon is thinking for his display, then, you know, he has that ability with this. And, you know, he specifically wanted to use this dial, I think, as a display piece, so I wanted to make sure that I gave him enough space on the sidewalks to get, you know, a decent amount of 6-inch 1/12 scale figures on here. So these sidewalks are about, it's about 6 inches from the building edge to the sidewalk edge all the way around, so that he has that capability. And we're also going to look, this has a rooftop that you can put some figures on top of, so we're going to look at that as well. I mentioned before that the roof of this diorama was going to be able to support the weight of figures. So I have Daredevil up here from the Spider-Man Retro series, kind of like listening out to hear what's going on from the rooftop. And although he is on the edge of the building, the entire building roof is magnetized. So you can stand him pretty much anywhere on here and he'll be totally supported, and you can put multiple figures up here. So the roof itself is, all it is a piece of XPS insulation foam that was washed with that nutmeg brown, and then I Mod Podged the whole thing and sprinkled very lightweight cat litter on the entire surface. And at first I was going to paint it and you know, see if maybe making a different color, but I really liked the way the color scheme was. So then I just sealed it using more Mod Podge and water solution. And I also went over it with polyurethane just to make sure that everything was as in place as it could be and wouldn't break off for Jaycepticon. So Daredevil's right here. I'm just going to show you guys real quick. He can stand to, no problem, on the roof. No issue at all standing. Wanted to quickly show you guys something else that I threw in for Jaycepticon. He made a request that I create some meal boxes, like chicken meal boxes with his logo on it. So I have the Dope Yes on top and the D from the Dope Yes in a circle on the box. And again, I'm not a graphic designer at all, so basically what I did was found a small box template on Google Images, and then I opened up Photoshop, added an orange gradient throughout the packaging, and then slapped those logos in, made sure they reversed properly, so when it was folded up, this just folds, and you can, you know, kind of assemble it. And then I just used double-sided tape on all the pegs, and here we have the Dope Yes chicken meal box. So we all know Peter Parker is a freelance photographer, and of course he's got an interest in Mary Jane, who is his lady, so he wants to take her out on a date, but he's on that freelance photographer budget, so he doesn't have a ton of options. That's why he's coming to Dope Yes, because they have $3.99 chicken buckets, so they can both have a full meal for very little money. So we've got Peter here opening the door and Mary Jane approaching him. Not quite an ACBA shot because, you know, we don't have anything back here that closes in the shot completely, but still something fun that you can do, that Jaycepticon could do with this dio, you know, have a couple of fun little scenes set up out in front of the storefront. Okay, quick little ACBA setup here with Retro Spidey, using some wrapped up floral wire to look like it is a McFarlane style Spider-Man web. So he is dropped down in here in a classic Spider-Man pose in front of the Dope Yes storefront, and we have the backlit capable windows behind him going, so it looks like it's nighttime. We've got the lighting set up so maybe it looks like it's evening, and he is looking good in front of this new diorama. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Action Vasco, where we took a look at a custom Dope Yes diorama for Jaycepticon. If you guys like Star Wars, I highly suggest you check out his Instagram, and I'm going to put the link to his Instagram in the description of this video. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe so that you can see our new videos coming up. Otherwise, we'll see you on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at vascotoys.